All right, let's dive in. So, picture this. You've made the perfect monthly budget. I mean, it is a work of art. Every single penny has a job. But then, well, life happens, right? Your income for the month takes an unexpected nosedive. What on earth do you do? Today, we're going to break down a really powerful, super practical strategy for that exact moment: the mid month budget reset. Okay, so let's just start with this. This one sentence is pretty much the whole game right here. Your first instinct when the numbers don't add up anymore is to just panic and throw the whole budget in the bin. But this idea, it's so much smarter. It's not about admitting defeat, it's about being flexible and adapting on the fly. I think we've all felt this, that sinking feeling in your stomach when you realize the money you were absolutely counting on just isn't showing up. Maybe you got fewer freelance gigs than you thought, or your hours got cut at work. Whatever it is, the result is the same: that sudden, heart-pounding jolt of money panic. And you know what? That panic is a completely normal reaction. You look at your budget, the thing that felt like your roadmap to financial freedom just a few days ago, and now it just looks like a list of things you can't do. You think, well, that's it, the budget's a wash, I'll just have to wing it and pray and make it to the end of the month. But that is exactly the instinct we're here to fight. So how do we fight that feeling? Well, it really all boils down to a major shift in your mindset. We have to reframe what's actually going on here. This isn't a total disaster, it's just a course correction. It's not about feeling bad about the old plan, it's about being smart and making a new plan with the new information you have. And this right here, this is the key. Thinking of it as a failure is just paralyzing. It makes you want to give up. But calling it an adjustment, suddenly that's empowering. It changes you from someone who's a victim of their circumstances into someone who's proactively managing their money. You're just, adjusting the sails because the wind changed direction. It's that simple. Okay, so let's put an official name to it. A budget reset is exactly what it sounds like: a deliberate course correction. It's a specific move you make to line up your spending with the money you actually have, not the money you hoped you'd have. It's all about taking back control when things get messy. So we've talked about the why. Let's get into the how. And the great news is this is not rocket science. It's a super simple 3-step plan that'll take you from that feeling of panic to feeling like you're back in the driver's seat. Let's walk through it. I love this quote because it just perfectly captures the logic. This is the mental trick that makes the whole thing work. Forget everything that happened in the first 2 weeks of the month. Today is day 1 of your new, shorter mini-month. You're just working with the money you have left and the days you have left. It's clean, it's simple, and wow, is it effective? All right, here are the nuts and bolts. 3 steps. First, just hit the pause button. Stop all the spending that isn't absolutely essential from your old budget. Second, recalculate everything. How much cash do you have right now? And how many days are left? That's your new baseline. And third, you switch into survival mode. For the rest of the month, you are only funding the absolute must-haves. Okay, that all sounds good in theory, right? But let's make it real. Seeing the numbers actually move around is where the magic of this strategy really starts to make sense. So let's walk through a quick, real-world example of what this reset actually looks like. So let's say at the start of the month, you built your budget around an expected income of £1,800. You've got your rent covered, bills, groceries. You even budgeted a little bit for fun. Everything's looking great. But then, bam, halfway through the month, you do the math and realize your total income is actually only going to be £1,200. That's a £600 shortfall. Your original plan? It's completely out the window. Time to hit the reset button. And this table shows you exactly how it works. In your original plan, you were funding everything: your survival spending, like rent and basic groceries, and your non-essential spending, like going out to eat or subscriptions. But in the reset plan, you make a really tough but really necessary choice. The survival stuff stays funded, but everything else, it gets paused immediately. This is how you make sure that your new, lower income can still cover what absolutely matters most. This whole exercise leads us to a much bigger and, frankly, much more powerful way to think about budgeting in general. It's about getting away from this rigid all-or-nothing mindset and moving towards something that's actually, useful. And this, right here, this is the big takeaway. A promise, when you break it, makes you feel guilty, like you failed. But a tool? A tool is just something you use to get a job done. If you're trying to put in a screw and a hammer isn't working, you don't get mad at yourself, you just grab a screwdriver. Your budget is the exact same thing.
When things change, you don't give up on the project, you just grab the right tool for the new situation.
So, as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with this question to kind of chew on. Now that you know that life is going to throw curveballs, how can you start building this idea of resilience, of flexibility into your financial plan from the very beginning? Because honestly, a budget that can bend without breaking, that is the most powerful financial tool you can have.